right, cool. We're getting more in here. I think we have a decent bit for me to at least go ahead and get started. Hopefully everyone's had some fun today. As you may or may not have seen, that our UI has been updated for missions. I know we do still have quite a few tweaks that we're working on to try to improve that experience, but it does get better and better, as we kind of go on. So I certainly appreciate feedback that the folks have been giving us. It definitely is huge, and I think it's one of the biggest things that I've at least seen when it comes down to. I mean, for the most part, I'll say what most people interact with in the space are going to be like the marketplaces, and I think there's just a lot of opportunity there for an improved experience. And so I think that's one of the best things for us to hear is how we can improve our experience. Not that we're a marketplace, but we're a tool that's used in the space as
You're a
well.
tool.
You're a tool. Um, so yeah, so hopefully everyone had some fun getting their foxes out in missions and getting foxes in from missions and all that fun stuff. Um, I'll go ahead and jump into at least our announcements as I normally do. Kind of run through the general list just so that folks are kind of aware of things that have gone on. If you by chance haven't had a chance to go through, and then I'll kind of open it up. And I do I'm a very informal person, so as we're going through. If there's anything that pops up that's a question or what have you, feel free to we don't really have a hand raise in here, if you will, but feel free to just jump up and um, shout at me, if you will, and we'll kind of chat about it. I don't have a real formal agenda. I'll try and keep it similar to how we've done VCs in the past. And once I feel like we've covered covered everything for a while, there are many other questions that pop through. Then we'll kind of wrap it up there. There is also, I don't know what'll be easier for people. There is
Yeah.
a there is a text channel as well for this. So if anybody wants to put a comment in the chat section, feel free to put comments in the chat section. I'll probably won't check that out until I kind of like go through all the announcements, just because I am using a laptop and I only have very limited space. But I'll just throw it in there for people to also put comments in there. But I think I might have heard someone speak. All right, cool. If not, we'll go ahead and jump into it. Starting off last week, raffles lets you favorite raffles from the raffles page. Oh, I'm sorry, that's today's wrong thing. Yeah, last week. It's quality life updates. You can redeem fame tokens from missions on my Fox's page, so you can do that for any individual Fox that you want to. It does make you pick, so just wanted to throw that out. And you can filter your foxes on the fame leaderboard by matching any of the selected attributes. So on the left-hand side, I believe, is where we have all the attribute filters. So you can go through and modify those to the attributes that you're looking for specifically, and it will filter the fame leaderboard down to just those foxes. We did also add in the alerts for the chest rewards. So I know I mentioned it in our last VC that we had that separate channel that has the chest alerts. Now we also have it set up for Twitter, primarily from the social engagement side, general awareness and such for folks that are interested in the tracking side. They are posted there. The one thing that is interesting is there has been one person that we've seen where it reported a different prize than they were actually given. So I'm not quite sure exactly what happened there. But that was a difference between the UI and what was actually done on chain. So that's something that we are looking into, just because that seems kind of strange. But for everything else that's been on there, it's been the only anomaly that I've seen so far. So I do just want to throw that out there. Let's see. We'll talk about the update for the UI on missions a little bit more. Just kind of go a little bit more in depth with the way that it's set up, because I think it should be a lot easier for figuring out what you have, what you don't have, and then getting what you need if you have the foxes but they don't have the levels and such. So I don't know how many people were messing around with that earlier, or probably could be messing around with it right now, but I think it's quite helpful for allowing people to buy fame levels and such to get to the point that they know their foxes are eligible for missions, which is pretty sweet. And fame upgrades, we are working on getting those finished. All of the tier 1 traits are done. Tier 2, we did a slight reshuffle of a couple of things. So we're trying to figure out from a priority standpoint, getting those squared away. And once all tier 2s are done, there are a couple of tier 3s that were also kind of shifted with that. So we have a little bit of a plan to figure out exactly how we want to do tier 2 and tier 3s, but tier 1s are done written off. So expect those to come shortly. And yeah, very, very much looking forward to kind of pushing those out. I know it's been much waited for, so I appreciate everyone's patience with that, but they should be coming out soon. Then we had our winner for the Duke Fox, of course, was Alkine for 750k Foxy. The Fox name for that was Okami Fox, and that was created by Duke. For those of you that are not familiar, he's a pretty well-known, I would say a decently well-known one-on-one artist. He has a very solid collection or pieces that he's created over on Form Function, so feel free to go check out his work. But I certainly appreciate him for kind of the unique style that he has. He does like a little bit of an animated style, and I will throw out there an apology. I do know that he's also been adding music recently to NFTs, and for us, the way that it would cause issues on our system if we used an MP4 versus a GIF. So we did ask if we could remove the music from it. So we did do that just for our foxes, just by the way that they end up getting staked into the contracts and on our website. We just didn't want to have any issues with it. So appreciate his flexibility with that, but just to throw that out there as well for anyone that does check out his collections and sees that I think his newer pieces most likely will have music to them. Let's see, next update, which went out Wednesday. Raffles show the creator Twitter icon on their card. So you can go through and check that out. I would highly suggest for those of you that do partake in raffles that you do a little bit of research before you do buy tickets. You know, we are getting better at flagging. We've got a system in place that uses data from Hello Moon, which has been very, very helpful from them. So shout out to Hello Moon. But you know, having said that, I mean, people are getting craftier and people are trying to learn the ways in which we're trying to hunt people down. Not hunt people down; it's not the right term for it, but the way that we're trying to protect our community, if you will. And so, you know, we are. You can kind of see patterns between people that are I'll say serial scammers or what have you. And so I would just say, you know, to do a little bit of research for those of you that do partake in raffles. I think the absolute like number one advice that I think anyone can give is to pretend that all tickets sell out, you know, and just be okay with those odds because, you know, even if you buy one ticket, you still have a chance at winning it. You know, it's just who buys the other, you know, 99% of tickets or what have you. And I do actually think there's a bot out there. I think we found a bot out there that does buy one ticket to every raffle, which I thought was kind of funny. And I think it's based off of like specific parameters, um, but yeah, I think there's a bot out there that does that, which I thought was quite funny. And an interesting strategy. I actually have no idea how well or not that does. But anyway. Raids, we did a Monster Trainer was the raid from last Sunday. We also pushed another one out on Wednesday. I know not everyone is a huge fan of us doing that. The one thing I can promise is that we are working on a better system for raids to get more people active and involved in them. So I think our pie in the sky idea with raids is to set them up so that they last for a certain period of time, and if you have your fox and you stake it into the raid, then you'll be eligible to participate in it. The biggest challenge for us right now is actually the file size for doing that, and depending on how many people stake into a raid, the page could take forever to load. So we have a couple of methods that we're working on putting in place, so that way that won't become an issue. And yeah, hopefully in the future it's just going to be set up so raid is open for 24 hours every or something like that. I don't know if it's 24, if it's 12. I think it should be something that's at least more than 8. That way people don't have to get up at like 1 o'clock in the morning if that's your time when raids start or missions start. Um, and yeah, can stake into the raid, and then once that 24-hour period or what have you is up, then the raid gets locked and all the foxes go off on that raid. So that's kind of our pie in the sky with it. We're working on getting there. I'll say just please be patient with us. We have a lot of things that we're working on improving and such, if you will, in the background. But looking forward to kind of getting that updated as well. So all that's to say, apologies for having raids on random days, especially when foxes most likely were tied up. But just wanted to push that out there for everyone. And then the missions for today that went out. So we have the cap/hat that's level 8 plus. The shirt/t-shirt that's level 15 plus. And we've got the captain that's level 15 plus. And then the ones that include dens. So we've got pirate level 15 plus and a pirate den. We've got Viking level 18 plus and Viking Den, and then Fang, 2 Fangs, level 15 plus, and a Vampire Den. So those are the missions that are out this week. We, just for alpha, since really it's us talking to our individual holders, and most likely by the time this gets posted, folks will kind of know about it too. We are planning on putting out a mission that I'm going to say doesn't expire, like doesn't like close out after a certain period of time. It'll be kind of available all the time. It will be separate between transdimensional foxes and famous foxes. It'll be level 0 plus for any fox, and it will be a fame only mission. So it'll be a higher amount of fame than what it would be if you were to earn Foxy from a chest. I think even from, maybe not from the highest amount, but from like the average amount plus a certain percentage adder, and then that way people can earn fame all the time if they want to, and not Foxy. Like Foxy won't be part of it. You won't get a chest. You'll just get fame from it for any fox. So we'll be putting that out. I'm hopeful that we'll get that out next weekend. We've been talking about it in the backside, but the main challenge there is just making sure it's separate between transdimensional and famous foxes, because there is that 1-to-4 ratio for fame for the individual missions.
So will it stop at 40? Like you can't get more than 40 levels still, right? Is that accurate?
Right now it just shows as 40 as the cap for levels. You could still earn fame beyond that. And then once we push out our traits for tier 1, then we'll open that leveling up as well. I don't know how high we're going to open it up to, but we're going to open it up higher than 40. Let's see. Another, I'll say shout out / reminder for the merch redemption. So I have been collecting information from everyone that has submitted merch tokens that have won them during missions. So if you haven't contacted me or I haven't contacted you to get your information for it, please let me know. We've already submitted our first order for merch, so it's being made right now, and hopefully our site for merch is up shortly. It is just a little bit challenging for getting the information that's needed from our site over to our vendor to ship it. I am not. I personally am not shipping out all these individual pieces of merch. We have kind of like, I'll say more of like a fulfillment service, if you will, that'll be doing it. So we just have to kind of build in, because we are going to have the merch like through our own site. So we just have to build in a way of like address validation and all that kind of fun stuff to like push over to our vendor. And then that way people will be able to purchase merch from our site. And the fun part about it too is we will have Solana Pay for it. So I believe it's either Sol or USDC. I'm not 100% sure, but we are also planning eventually to do like a short small run for like just Foxy on like specific exclusive items. So just want to throw that out there as well. No idea on the time frame for it, what that'll look like. But that is an idea. Since it's SPL related, we can kind of do whatever we want. Um, so I think that'll be kind of fun in the future. But we want to get our first push out, let folks that are interested in purchasing some merch purchase some, and then for the folks that have acquired it during our missions, um, get out your merch, because there have been some people, I think, from the March timeframe that still haven't gotten it. So appreciate the patience. I apologize because it's a lot more of a takeover than I expected on top of everything else that we have going on. So appreciate patience, but just want everyone to know that our merch is currently in order, being worked on. So I'm looking forward to that myself. And I should actually double check. I don't think anyone's gotten the cat yet. Um, yeah, I haven't seen a chest alert come through. So, yeah, so the cat is still out there that we put in the chest yesterday. Expecting it to hit sometime today, but we're not sure when. It's just a matter of how many chests get opened, and just want to put that out there as well, as that is
Wait,
our bigger ticket prize this week.
what cat?
There's a cat. The cat's on crack.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. It's in our announcement from Wednesday. I honestly don't know their traits, but it's got like an Elvis hair and like a bunch of tattoos, but it's fairly clean. I mean, outside of that. So yeah, we've been adding. Uh, what this is, I think, is our third week. We've been adding bigger NFTs to the prize pool for chests, and you win the NFT directly from the chest. You don't have to redeem it like our gold box or golden box or orange box. Yeah, and so yeah, we did Blocksmith Lab was the first week. We did a Degen Ape last week, and this week is Cat's on Crack. Um, Next week, it's actually going to be our raffle. So Dev had pushed out the mention for our raffle, which is about 300 soul. It's less than the previous month's raffle, but that's because we've been adding in orange, golden boxes and these additional NFTs into our mission rewards. And we are also making the this month's raffle gated to holders as well. So you need to have an FFF or TFF to purchase those raffle tickets for the week. So we'll put a full list of the NFTs that are purchased. You can check out our den, or I could real quickly just kind of read through, if people are interested, a list of what we have. I think I heard a mic. Does someone have a question?
No, that might have been me. My bad.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. Yes, I'll read through a list real quick of what we have for our raffle. So we did get a Cope FFF. I bought that off the market. Thought it was particularly too cheap. I believe it's a Cope hoodie as well, so a little bit more, I'll say, desirable in the hat. We've got Community 3, Monkey Baby Business, Gothic Degen, Solstead, Atadian, Soul God, 3 primates, or primates, yeah, primates. 2 Money Boys, 2 Grim Syndicates, 3 Fruits. I lied. I think that's actually 3 Grim Syndicates. TFF microphone and a beard. It's ranked 1100 plus, 1118, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4 pesky penguins. 2 Xenoverses, 2 doggos, 2 Siler studs. 2 more Xenoverses. Apparently their price differential was in there, so there's 4 Xenoverses in total. Cardboard Citizen, Soulset Citizen, and a Monkette. So that is the list for our raffle. And again, we'll put it out, I believe on Wednesday. I'll put out the full list as well for anyone that didn't catch all of that. Let's see. Mentioned a little bit too about the fame upgrades. So the way that we're doing, at least the initial set of upgrades, it's head and outfits. The tier 1 upgrades will be for again, like the headgear and the outfits itself. We are also working on getting an upgrade for the none attribute of the head, since there are quite a few of those as well. I don't think we've landed on a final design for those yet, but just wanted to kind of throw that out there too. Even if you have a Fox that doesn't have a headgear, it still does kind of technically count as a headgear as none. So you'll have an option there as well. For tier 1 upgrades, fame level needs to be 40 to acquire that. And it'll be 10k Foxy per trait to acquire those upgrades. So the headgear itself will be 10k, and the outfit itself will also be 10k.
Question.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
So you just mentioned that the traits would be 10k. Like, do you have to win the trait upgrade, or like will the traits be available in the marketplace to just buy?
Yeah. So the way that it'll work, I don't think we've posted. Let me double check. I don't think we've posted what the UI looks like for that yet. We still have a couple of like little refining things to do, but it'll have its own separate UI for doing the upgrade. So it won't be like through a marketplace or anything like that. It'll be directly through like that trait upgrade UI that we have. So it'll show you like what upgrades you have unlocked, like what will be available that's like not grayed out. Like tier 1 will be like available if you're at level 40, and then it will show you like the price in Foxy for purchasing directly from that UI. And then for anybody that does like upgrade their Fox to that tier 1 attribute, you can still sell it on secondary, and if people see those trade upgrades on secondary, you can still buy them on secondary as well. So if someone's already unlocked something and upgraded their Fox, to tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, when we get them out there, you can purchase those Foxes and you'll have them enabled. You won't have to go through like the whole grind. Like that's the nice part about the way that we've built in like our fame and all the different things that we're building into the system. It stays with the individual Fox. It's built through our own database. It's not specifically on chain for that specific data, but it is tracked and it is done through our website for those trade upgrades. Hopefully that answers the question. If that's not the exact answer, please let me know. That way I can clarify some points too.
No, that works perfectly. Thank you, mate.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. Thanks for the question. Let's see here. Jumping into our announcement for today. That kind of brings us up to today. So first off, raffles let you favorite them, like I mentioned earlier, out of step. So if you want to, you can favorite individual raffles and go back to them if you would like to. We did, like I mentioned as well earlier on, ramp up the UI for missions. So yeah, we tried to make it a bit easier. You get to see all the Foxes that are potentially eligible for a specific mission. It's nice because it kind of grays out and gives you that little information eye in the top right hand corner for Foxes that aren't eligible, or that are eligible as a Fox but not based off of their levels. And all you do is click on that box. It'll let you add different levels to them. You can see what their level is beforehand and what the requirement is for the individual mission, and then you can just purchase the fame directly from, or purchase the levels directly through that page. You don't have to bounce around. You don't have to go back to my Foxes or anything like that. It's pretty slick. So huge shout out to Dre and Meditating Sloth. They absolutely destroyed it. But yeah, I think it's super helpful, and hopefully it's helping people too. Like I think the one thing that I learned today, because I have to bounce Foxes like around to different wallets, and I know in the future we have a system that will fix that as well. But like today was one of the days where I had to like optimize my things just to make sure, I was getting, I was putting the right Foxes in the right missions and getting the most amount of fame that I could possible. That was a struggle for me today, especially because the caps and shirts, a ton of Foxes are eligible for them. So, but hopefully the way that we're updating the UI, it's making life a bit easier for folks to be able to kind of optimize their Foxy missions, if you will. And then we also added in our Foxy lens. So there have been quite a few people that have mentioned like the lending side for kind of having foxes for specific missions. I know trade up cards was I don't know if the first or one of the first to kind of mention it in our suggestions. So shout out to him as well. But it's pretty slick. The one thing I would say that I would definitely encourage the people at least that I saw earlier to like check and make sure that the Foxy amount that you put in there is like reasonable. Um, you have to kind of think of like the missions that people are doing and such. Like even if they get a chest or what have you, you know what I mean? Like there's a certain amount of Foxy that they're going to get from it. I think it'd be awfully silly. I think three that I saw earlier were at like 5K, 7K, and 10K Foxy. I don't I don't know why somebody would pay that much if they're gonna get a chest and maybe some fame from it. So I would just suggest people to think about it, especially if it sits there for a while, making sure to go through and modify it. You'll figure it out, but I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. But the way that it works, yeah, is so that you'll be able to basically borrow a fox for a mission. You pay the owner of that fox whatever they're asking for, and it goes right into missions. I think there were actually a few people that had put foxes like super low. I think someone did one for like 300 Foxy, and that was eligible for solo missions, and that's why Dev made that comment in the announcements, because you'll get the fame for that fox, but the chest itself is going to go to the person that's paying to borrow. So if they, in theory, get a chest that at minimum is going to have 600 Foxy in it, I mean, there's no risk there for them. And, they're just staking it really into the same contract. So it's almost like you getting half the amount of Foxy for your individual fox. So it'll be a system where I'm sure people will kind of modify as time goes on. But just to throw it out there, think about what makes sense is what I'll say, or don't, whatever you want to do. But I think people will only use it for the most part if it does make sense. And
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some people are having some boomers are having technology issues, like Max. He's not able to join this DAO VC chat. I told him to join the FoxDAO one if you're able to grab him. But just a heads up, some people can't join this channel for some reason.
That is very strange. Yeah, let me see if I can move him. Problem for me is that I've got so many things in here. Can I move you, Max? There you go. Alright, I got Max. I wonder why that is. Let me just double check channel settings real quick. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
He's also like old, so he doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, I wouldn't worry about it.
It's because he doesn't have a Max account anymore. That's why he needs to go mine.
You guys are so funny. All right, I think I got him all squared away. Thank you for the Boomer Watch, and yeah, just let me know if anyone else does have tech issues. I know I'm coming to the end here, so if there are, I'll make sure to jump in there and help some people out. Yeah, so I mentioned the July raffle, which will be next week. I also mentioned, just as a reminder, tickets for that will be holder only. So 3,000 tickets, 2,000 Foxy each. And I believe you can buy them now. Let me double check. Did Dev make them available? He did. Yep. So there's already been 171 sales for it. But yeah, like I mentioned, FFF and TFF holders only. To be able to purchase those, and yeah, you put the comment in there for depreciating raffles, monthly raffles, in order for us to kind of boost up the chest rewards for missions. So just to kind of give more incentive for folks to go and do our missions as we are intending. Last I guess there's two more items in here. The next 101 Foxy auctions from Duxie. So I would say it's one of our more gory ones, but I think it's more fun. Him have his head pop off and a little duck land inside of it.
God,
Yeah,
it's so cute.
It's so fun. And then we did our first, like, I'll say animated teaser from fun guys that have been helping us put together our 3D models for foxes. And as Dev puts it, they made mine beating the shit out of somebody, as Dev had put it. So just doing a little bit of fighting moves in there, but super cute. And yeah, I'm looking forward to when we get these into metaverses, to kind of see how much that kind of takes off up front. But yeah, it would be kind of a huge perk. So anyone that does have initially FFFs, this has just kind of been a process for us to get up to this point, if you will. We'll be able to use your own individual FFF into metaverses. We'll figure out the whole logistics around getting the models and importing them and all that kind of fun stuff. So I will say, as certain metaverses become more available and more popular, we'll make sure we stay on top of those, and then provide information for folks. Like, we'll have a guide or something within our Git hook for how to go through and get your model and import that into the different metaverse that you're planning on using it on. But just wanted to kind of throw that out there, as I know it's been a little bit of time and I know some people were asking about it. And that kind of wraps up. Dev did put a screenshot for our monthly raffle. Okay, cool. He left his Bert in there too. So not every NFT that's in that screenshot. I'll just put that as a caveat. I think he just grabbed a screenshot from the den or somewhere. Yeah, I think from the den. But most of those NFTs that are in there will be up for grabs at our monthly auction. So yeah, so that kind of wraps up. Let me double check. Let's start off in our text chat here. It looks like people are just excited. Sounds good to me. We'll be able to fight who, and then myself, hopefully. Let's see here. More Boomer slander. You guys are funny. All right, let's see. Oh, there's really no questions in DAO VC. All right, cool. Let me see. Any questions? If anybody has questions, feel free to ask me questions. I don't know. This feels like there's got to be something out there. It's under Matrica. It's so funny.
What's gonna be the next mission or raid?
That's a good question. It's most likely whatever the next highest vote was. Let's see. We did Astros. We just did Monster Trainers. So next highest looks like Captain, I believe. Captain, and then Viking Armor.
Viking armor, or will it be the
Viking armors together. So Viking helmet and then armor as well.
Sweet.
Yeah, the Viking attributes. There's 4 different ones. Bronk has a question. Go ahead, Bronk. What's your question?
Speak. Or type.
He says, I forgot. He forgot in 1 minute. Bam.
It sucks.
Straight to jail. Alright, well, I'm gonna... Go ahead. Might as well check Fox chat too, just to see what's going on in there. Oh.
So for the raid missions, it just goes down in essentially in the rarity of the foxes, like rare traits. It just goes down towards common.
You mean like in general when we create them?
Yeah, like the when like every single week it seems like you're like working down, so that's kind of the plan. Eventually it'll be like, people who don't have super rare traits can still do a raid.
That's a good question.
That's a smart way of doing, like, get to the common eventually. So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how common we'll end up going with it, to be honest with you. It'll be something that me and Dev will have to kind of chat about to figure what makes the most sense.
I think it makes sense to
Um,
do, but you have limited, like you can limited slots, so it's just gonna be, or you do it twice in the week or
well,
something.
no, if we do it time based, then it would be however many people want to get into it. So
Yeah,
we don't make it limited slots. Um,
slots.
yeah, we'll have to talk about it. I think, I mean, for the most part, I mean, we put the list that we put in our vote on the 26th, almost a month ago, which is crazy. Um, yeah, I'll say it's of the rarer traits. I don't think they're all. I don't know if they're all rare or epic, um, but yeah, that's kind of at least the start. And I don't know. I think part of it too, from a higher side is like the chests themselves you get for those, or I mean, the reward table for them is bumped up. So I think if we do end up doing common raids, like they would happen less frequently. So like you'd probably see two or three, rare raids go through for like every common if we get to that point. But that's something that we'll still have to figure out. I think for starters, we'll go through the list that we have posted, and then we'll try and figure out what we want to do from there. So I think right now we've only done three of these, so we still have another 6 to go.
Okay.
But yeah, and I might as well throw a little bit of other alpha out there too. So as far as like collab missions go, um, I know that I still want to talk to um, the one team about it, but Marinade, we kind of have like a communication plan with them for like our like partnership that we'll be doing kind of like different things like AMAs. We've already put out a Twitter thread about Marinade, just to kind of provide more information about them to the whole ecosystem, as well as we've staked into them for 1,000 SOL at this point so far, into their platform. But we will have um, a collaboration mission with Marinade. We still have to figure out the logistics around what we're going to use from Marinade's side to represent them. They do have these chef NFTs, but the chef NFTs are more for like a governance process. So um, I don't want to say the value of them becomes like a little bit more illiquid or a little bit more volatile, but I don't know if it entirely makes sense to use that as like their representation for staking into a mission. So I'll just put that out there in general. It's not finalized. We don't know what we're going to use from their side yet. I'm not saying to go buy chefs. I'm just giving at least a heads up that that is one um, collaboration mission that we will have in the future that folks will see, which I'm pretty stoked for because I like the team over at Marinade. I think they've got some good things going on there. I don't really mess around with much DeFi stuff too, so I just have been burned a lot in the past, but I like what Marinade's doing. Let's see chat here. All right, first question: what am I excited in the next month of Dev? Honestly, I know it's been a long time coming and it's probably like an easy scapegoat, but I'm really interested to see how the traits get adopted from like a
Received.
mass side and yeah, or received from our community. I think the one thing that I find quite interesting, and it's not to the fault for any individual person or project or what have you. I know that what we've built is not as straightforward as most of the community, like most of the Solana community wants, and I think it's built that way. Like it's grown to be built that way. It wasn't built that way from the get go, and it's grown to be built that way because of the way that we are just creating utilities, creating value from those utilities and trying to allow our community to capture it in like a more sustainable fashion. And it does take a little bit of time to be active in missions and such. We're not asking people to be on our mission for 10 hours a day and all that kind of stuff. So like it does just make it, you know, complicated enough that some people will kind of, I'll say, get scared by it or just not interested, and they'd rather try to find a 5x pump in some other project or what have you. But I think there's like something more to it that like I'm just excited about in general, and I think having trait upgrades and people start seeing like just kind of how D gods were with dead gods when those first came out. I mean, that model was quite simple because you just got 1,000 dust and then you ascended your D god into a dead god. Ours is a bit more complicated, and I think I'm hopeful that it will kind of draw some more attention and for people to be like, oh, I want to, get this fox and upgrade them, or get that fox or upgrade it. And like, some people are going to be able to buy it and some people aren't, because I think it will kind of create a pretty significant foxy crunch. I think the last I had looked on Jupiter, I think there was like 2 million foxy or so that was up for grabs. I think that's for a fox going from level 0 to 40 for like 20 foxes. Like that's it. And then that dries up. So yeah, I think I'm mostly excited for trade upgrades, I'll say for the next month, and merch. The merch has just been such a process, that I'm very excited to get that out and running. And I'm excited to kind of clear out my list of people that we owe merch to. For anyone else that has like OCD on email messages and texts and all that kind of fun stuff, I've had this list growing, since like March that I haven't been able to do much with, and I'm excited to kind of start chipping away at that. So probably scapegoat answers, but that's what I'm most excited about. Let's see. How can we mute DAO chat? I have no idea. You can mute individual people, but I don't know if you mean like the actual chat itself.
They just want to mute it.
Take a day off and play old school RuneScape. Hilarious. I'd need more than a day to get back into that. A day on that game, you're not gonna remember jack shit. Let's see. Question: if you upgrade your fox, is there an option to revert it back? Yes, there will be the option to revert it back. I think at least up front, I believe it's going to be free. I don't know. I think it makes the most sense to have it free. Like you unlock it, you pay to unlock it, and you can revert it back. I think that's one of the more important pieces, at least in my eyes. From like an NFT standpoint, is like there was a reason that someone had purchased something originally. And it really kind of goes back to NFTs from like the early days, if you will, of like CryptoPunks and all that kind of fun stuff, where like, if there was a mechanic to burn a CryptoPunk to get a whatever, I mean, even if it's like a Bored Ape or what have you, I mean, you kind of lose that initial value from what was originally created. And so that's something that, I don't want to lose. I think that that's important. So that will be a thing that we will have a way for you to kind of revert it back, and then jump back and forth between, if you have tier 2 and tier 3 and you want to kind of switch around from one to another, once they're unlocked, we'll definitely have a way for you to do that. Plan for lower tier missions, which reward fame. Yeah, I was mentioning that earlier as alpha tier. Tell people to level up lower foxes. Is that a thing? Yeah, it's not a thing yet, but I am hopeful that we'll be able to get that in place by Sunday. So that's kind of just like underground alpha that I'm just throwing in here for you guys. But yeah, has not been officially announced. It's actually been an idea we've been talking about for a little while, but I think with just a bunch of stuff that we've been having going on, just haven't had time to put much energy towards it. And with the level gating getting higher on missions, I think it makes the most sense to be able to try to offer that, especially from last week. I think last week was probably one of the more restrictive weeks that we had for people being able to get into missions. And so I just want to kind of create an additional opportunity for folks to get more fame than if they would just stake in 1.0. earn that Foxy and use that Foxy towards getting fame. Can we please buy a copy of your new shirt? Yes. So as far as additional merch items go, so just to kind of throw it out there in chat, um, we'll do like we'll kind of do it in like batches. So like once we get our first initial push out, which I believe is 5 items, we'll add in kind of like batches of items. So the shirt that I had for New York, like I'm gonna redo it in a similar way, but I'll get foxes from people to put on that shirt if people are interested in just letting us use their shirt, their fox for an official piece of merch that we have. Without like royalties or anything like that. It would just kind of be like a straight thing, on our side. And I'll mention that out later or what have you. But I don't want to use the design specifically from NFT NYC because I just asked people to send me foxes, knowing that I was just going to make one copy for myself and one copy for my wife. So I don't want to, I'll say, commercialize that and just kind of give the wrong impression for the folks that had sent me their foxes before. So I'll push that out there. But I have a couple of ideas of what to put in like our next set of merch so far. So I think that shirt's definitely in. I know people are interested in a regular shirt that has like just an embroidery of a fox on the front, which I think will be solid in probably a couple of different colors.
Not Dev. Give him the finger.
I have to figure that out because that's a more challenging piece to make than.
Love that one.
Yeah, it's definitely solid. Shout out to Master Grade for that.
Shout out to me.
Well, yeah, you for the idea, Master Grade for the beautiful artwork of that. And I think like mouse pads. I think with our art banners that Neiman has been making, I think those would be certainly well received. And I'm not quite sure what else we would want to include in like a next drop, but I would like to do one of those things. Maybe we try and figure out something different too that's exclusive for just Foxy that will also include. But yeah, merch drops will kind of happen in like batches. It's kind of just the way that our vendor really works, and so we'll kind of push that out there. So good question, Volt. Just wanted to update you on that. You make me want to drop a bag to upgrade my fox. You guys are funny. Yeah, and there's plenty of reasons. I mean, I think the one thing too from the reversion side, just to kind of, I wouldn't say play devil's advocate, but to point it out, if someone buys, a fox that's been upgraded, you would still want to give them the option to revert it back if maybe they want to kind of go back to the original. Me being a car person, knowing the modification levels that people do on cars, if you could just pay something really, but realistically, if you had the ability to revert something back to its original condition, I think a lot of people would. After a certain period of time, so it's definitely a reasonable request, I'll say. Yeah, I don't think commands work in DAO VC chat.
So if you do make the option for us to revert back, once we unlock it, like you mentioned, would it be a free to swap back and forth, or would we have to additionally pay each time we want to go back to the upgraded version?
Yeah, great question. I will have to ask Dev. I don't know if any of that is done on chain. I think it's just done through our site. So if it's just done through our site, then it won't require an additional fee. If it's done on chain, it'll just probably require whatever the Solana fee is to do that transaction. I'm not 100% sure on that, so I'll ask him, and we'll put out more details around it once we do have that as an option. But it's not going to cost 10,000 Foxy to like unlock it and use it every single time you want to switch back and forth. That I can promise you. That would be way too much.
Ooh, and another one I just thought of for the monster trainer. I know you got like the free tiers and all that, but are you going to do anything like incorporate a mega evolution or something?
I'll apologize for sounding dumb.
Super, like a super man.
Because I'm more old school. Could you elaborate on? Yeah, I think if are you talking about like a legendary style like Pokemon like evolution side. I'm not too familiar. I'm not up and up on current Pokemon stuff. I am 95 to maybe 2000 at best Pokemon, where uh, Charizard was the badass, and 151 Pokemon, or what I remember. I know there's a lot more since then, so I'm going to sound really dumb here, but but if you could
Yeah.
elaborate on that.
I think like the Mega Evolution is just like an upgraded version. Like, I guess. Uh, I mean, I don't really know how to explain it further. To be honest, it's just like an upgraded version. But like the Mega Evolution doesn't last forever. You know, it's like a time limit thing, kind of like when you do the fusion dance. I just thought maybe for the monster trainer, since everyone wants to shield those instead of the BTC thing, you know, that might be something to incorporate.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely open to it. I think for our initial push for what we've created so far, it'll just kind of be the regular trade upgrades. But yeah, I could see something like that. That's a temporary or something like that that can kind of exist um, out there as kind of a little added flair. I don't know if it's a crazy background change or something like that. It sounds like would kind of be up that alley. And again, it wouldn't be like a permanent thing. It would be like a temporary time thing. But that'd be something we'd have to figure out down the road once we get all three tiers out there, and then try and figure out how we want to gamify that a little bit more. And I did see Son had asked that I'm a car person. What whip do I drive? So I've actually had a 94 Toyota Supra for the longest time. I've had it now for 12, no, more than 12 years, 15 years. But yeah, it's more of a project car, not a daily driver. And I honestly need to do a couple more things to it, but I'm probably actually going to end up selling it off. So uh, I have a Toyota Camry, and it's not like super, super crazy. Very interested in getting a Tesla in the not so distant future, just because they go fast and also they're super fun. Um, Not very family friendly for the most part, but also get that plaid or something stupid fast for
X is
fun.
fine.
Yeah, the plaid X, uh,
Not.
which would be really fun. But that's like pie in the sky, like probably 10 years down the road for me, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely JDM for sure. Japanese domestic.
Ah, yeah.
OTC trade fast and super hilarious. It would take more than that. I don't know, even the one for one. Yeah, it's just even our one for ones. I'm trying to even think of what the cheapest
it would
one.
be a very interesting swap that you
Yeah,
one car for.
yeah, it'd have to be like a couple of Boogles or some shit at this point. Super ducks.
Obviously.
Also, that's a pretty sweet headset that Nayuman put in there. But yeah, no, I appreciate all the questions. Let me jump into Alpha Channel too, because people I think might be messaging in there. Let's see. No, someone pinged me. I apologize. I'm just scrolling through because you guys talk a lot in there. Yeah, I should have music on in the background or something, right? That way you guys don't just listen to me scrolling.
Start the vibe.
You heard of Mary
DJ.
Chefs now. That'd be funny. What else? What else? Oh my god. Okay, here we go. Just curious why they raid limits for 30 Lego set in the Fox store. Yeah, so Chupacabra, the limit for 30, honestly, just I know I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Some folks might not have been in there. Just comes down to the actual loading time for those screens. Um, like I mentioned to other folks, we are working on setting up a way of having missions be time locked versus number locked. Um, so more on that to come. I don't think that's going to be this week or our next mission. Maybe not. I don't want to overpromise anything. That's never been our way of doing things. But yeah, it's primarily has to deal with loading for missions. Rare chests have to be limited. Funny. Yeah, I know some people are commenting on the amount of Foxy you get from rare chests. I think we might bump that a little bit. Um, let's see here. Lab missions. Yeah, you guys are talking about marinade. Not confirmed yet, but most likely it will be in the not so distant future. All right, cool. Underglowed neons for your foxes. Hilarious.
I just thought of a suggestion, General.
Go ahead.
So maybe you could just pay Foxy for it or get it from a chest. But have you guys ever considered like making an item that will boost the drop rate of the chest? So it's like, say if you get like a rare something, then it'll boost your chances of getting those rare items by like 10%, 20%, anything like that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I am not sure how challenging that would be to utilize. I know we have talked about items in the past for granting temporary access for certain missions. So like having like a Viking spear or something like that, where you can burn it to use a whatever fox in that mission. So I think that that's going to be something that we'll build in eventually once we get up to that point. We can also then fold those items into rewards from missions, so then people can use those items themselves. So I know that is kind of a plan, if you will, for those kinds of items. And then I also was talking to Dev about being able to give maybe a multiplier for fame for the fame only missions that we set up. But if you use like a den, like if you lock a den with a fox into it versus just a fox by itself, I don't know if that makes it more challenging from the contract side. He might have to make a separate one that's a fox in a den, for a multiplier on there. But that was another idea that I think some people had mentioned multipliers for dens, just to kind of give a little bit more utility for them themselves. But I think in like a fame only mission, for adding in some kind of a multiplier to it, maybe it's 50% or something like that, or 33% or something along those lines. They could add a benefit to individuals that have dens that aren't in missions, or if like their den to fox ratio is high, you'll be able to get like a little bit more fame for the fame only mission. But yeah, I mean, there are so many things that we can do, and then there are a few things as well that like don't necessarily work that well for the way that we do it. Um, so yeah, and Volt, to your question there too. The one challenge that we'd have, I mean, depending on how we'd end up using those items, I'm going to assume it'd be based off of like a time. Let's say it's like 10 minutes or something that would like take effect. We would have to kind of be worried if people try to game the system by like having a bunch of people send one person chests and then have them burn one item and go through a bunch of chests, to see if they get anything rare from it. Maybe it could be like a number of chests or something that's linked to it for how many like they open for a multiplier for getting rarer items from it. But I like the idea. I mean, I'm a huge fan of more innovative thinking, especially with what we have. There's just so much we can do with it, so I like it. And if it gives us more items that we could possibly give out to for mission rewards, I'm definitely down for that. Question, and then so new probability is 0.6%. Who do I want to win? Who do I want to fight first in the metaverse? I mean, since you already called me out, I'm gonna have to say you. But realistically, I think it depends on the platform and to see what the fighting style even looks like in a metaverse. I have a feeling that it won't be that cool, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. Unless they build in like something specifically around like a boxing arena or something like that for the tokens that are in there.
I mean, I feel like if we all know that boxing, if you want to box, you got to play it on the Wii.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of games that I'm sure right now, based off of the shape that I'm in, I would get winded like doing 10 minutes of that shit. Uh, so yeah, I don't think I've ever played boxing on the Wii. I've done like tennis and bowling and all that kind of fun stuff. I don't think I've ever boxed on it. Yeah, so funny. But yeah, I mean, I think that answers most questions. I know we've gone a little bit over an hour. I'll still keep it open if anyone has any other questions. Doesn't even really have to be related about foxes or what have you. I'm definitely down to answer whatever. Do have a few spaces going on tomorrow. Throughout the week, I think I've got a few spaces kind of going on. So you'll see me throw them out in events. So if you guys don't mind to check them out, I know I'll kind of harass a few people quite a few times, and we've got some fun stuff coming out for you guys shortly. Hopefully, you guys are liking what we're pushing. No, Pugs, we're not adding flip to friggin' chest rewards. That would be so dumb.
When rev share.
You guys are killing me. If I didn't have a Supra JDM car, what I want, I mean, in all honesty, an R34. Um, but I've just been more of a fan of like the newer cars too. So I know I'm not a huge fan of the new Supra myself. Call that a BMW if you will. But the newer Skylines too, the R35, I think that'd probably be a pretty fun JDM car. And if not, probably an LFA. Yeah. No flip token market box rewards. Yeah, how about you, Son? I guess if you're a JDM guy, what's your car? Your car or your ideal car? And Benj, were you talking there? Yeah, 300ZX is it twin turbo too? I know you literally have zero space. I'm actually gonna get you real quick. When running, yeah, you have literally zero space under the hood of that car. If it is twin turbo, no, TT is too expensive. Yeah. But no, 300ZXs are pretty fun cars. Um, I had a buddy that had an Evo X when those first came out. Those were fun. But yeah, I'm a Toyota person at heart.
Maxi.
Toyota Maxi. The Supra, unfortunately, I had it sit for a little while, and I'll tell you what, man, the thing just starts right up. It's crazy. It's a whole different level from normal cars.
A little while. It's been like years. And it's still.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
beforehand, I would start and drive it around some. Garage kept. No, it's modded. It's black on black. No rear wings. That was shaved. 3000 TD wide body kit. Just put on a Precision 6626 turbo. It was originally twin, converted to single. Apologize for anyone else. This is boring.
My hand is up.
Yeah, your hand is up. Huge inner core, uh, HKS, SSQV for it, just because that's the most fun. And I haven't messed around with the fuel on it. That's the only thing. So it's still stock fuel. So it does decent, but it doesn't. It's not like I don't bust on it. So definitely could use another few grand to go real fast. But it's fun. FoxyDAO gonna buy LS. You're
What do
funny.
you have?
By LS, are you talking about an LS motor and swap it? I would never swap it 2JZ for an LS. That'd be stupid. Thanks for the offer there, Vol. I'll let you know if I ever do. But yeah, if there aren't any other questions, I'll probably dip. I'll give you guys some more of your Sunday night, Monday morning back. And like I mentioned too, this is recorded. If there's anything people were asking they don't want up there, let me know via DM. More than happy to take it out, and I'll get this published sometime this week when I have some time to. Um, Yo, I'll tell you what, Mr. Hack. Dev would fucking destroy me, but my god, would that be so funny? Because I know exactly what you're talking about with like the anime boob mouse pads to do that with that Foxy Dev one. Yeah, he would lose his mind. I can't even with you guys. All right, on that happy note, I don't think there's any more pings in here. On that happy note, yeah, everyone have a good rest of your Sunday night, Monday morning, and if anything does pop up, shoot me a DM, all that kind of fun stuff. More than happy to chat on the side and in Discord, wherever you'd like. And hopefully you guys are having a good weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon. So next DAO VC, I'm gonna do. I should have started off with that in here. I'm gonna open up a vote for DAO VCs going forward. So I'll run the vote for probably 72 hours. I'll put it up in our actual DAO votes. But I'm interested in days and times that are ideal for people. So maybe what we'll do is we'll do a 72-hour vote for a day, and then once we figure out what day, then we'll vote on a time. Because I think if we do a day and a time separate, I think it can just be all over the place. Because people might want like Friday or Saturday at a certain time, so like it wouldn't be the same time on both days. So we'll vote on a day and then we'll vote on a time, and maybe we'll move around the VC to be more convenient for most people, as we've certainly grown and expanded since we had done our last vote for the timings of our weekly VCs. I think it probably would make the most sense to be either after a Wednesday or after a Sunday, just to kind of give at least the updates that came up to that point, and maybe a little bit of alpha post it. Because I think today was hopefully useful information for most folks. But yeah, I'll put that up in votes, so make sure you guys have a chance to go vote on that. And yeah, we might move VCs going forward, so be good. But yeah, we'll talk to you guys later.